What it do to all my doers and entrepreneurs? It's your boy Dante, Mr. Flip to Hold. Welcome back to the channel. And today I got a special video because a lot of people been asking, should you buy real estate when the market is at its top and at its peak, at its bubble? So we're going to get into it. So, should you buy real estate in today's market? While it's at the top and the hottest and everything is just booming and going crazy. I don't know. Me personally, I say always buy real estate. But um, a lot of people ask too, are we in a bubble? And if you're not sure what a bubble is, I like to explain it like a bubble. It started off really small, and then it grow, and then eventually it busts. And this happens in every market. We're talking about real estate, stocks, and all of that type of stuff. But it might be different terms for different things. But right now, I mean, we are in a bubble, but who knows how high or how far that bubble has expanded. Me personally, it's just a part of the game. You just gotta do your research. You gotta stay on it. You gotta know what's going on in today's market. You got to move fast. You got to network. Just make sure that if it is a bubble, you know how far it's expanded, which nobody actually have a real answer for that. I don't care how much analytics and analyzing and money you spend on data and research, and you're going from the past 10 years, the past 50 years, the past 100 years. I mean, now, people can probably say it's coming because the market is so hot and it's trending, there's not enough inventory, but you can't really say if the bubble will burst tomorrow, next week, next month, and so on. And the main thing is just, always stay on it. It all depends, as far as if you want to buy now, it all depends on your strategy. What's your exit strategy? And if you don't know, an exit strategy is something that you must learn how to do, whether you're an entrepreneur or you in real estate. In real estate, because an exit strategy, when you start something, you want to have that end goal already in mind. So if you're talking about flipping, long-term rentals, short-term rentals, if you wholesaling or whatever the case may be, just know what it is that you want to do before you get yourself in something and you just stuck and don't know what you're gonna do. I mean, unless you're just buying a house, for your family and stuff like that. I mean, I guess that makes a little different. But if you're an investor and you're trying to use this to pave the way and build wealth and stuff like that, you definitely want to have an exit strategy. Know what it is before you get yourself into any deals. Rather you want to flip it long term, short term, wholesale, whatever it is, just know how you want to end that. And no matter what exit strategy you do, um, you have to know where the market is as far as value. You need to make sure that you in the right locations. And as far as location, you want to know where you see where this property in this area is going to be in the next 5 or 10 years, whether that's good or is bad. Because the market, let's say, if you see Targets and Starbucks and big corporations and strip malls building in an area and you don't see too much over there, 9 times out of 10 they will be building in that area, because those companies only go in areas where is good employment. Those people only go in areas where the household median income is a lot above average. Those companies only go in areas that will be growing in the near future. So if you're lucky enough to find a property no matter what your exit strategy is in one of these locations. That's just key. So if if you do find something in that area, and with the way today's market is, let's just say you find something in a regular area or just anywhere. We're not going to talk about location. I just want to talk about, should you buy right now with the market being so high and at its peak. And like I said, I personally think that, yeah, the bubble will be bursting soon, but I am not that type of expert. I just know what I know. I don't, I got a good team of people that tell me where they see things going, where to buy and stuff like that. But I could not tell you tomorrow, next week, next year, what's going to happen. But we do know with the low inventory, and it's just not a lot of transactions like it usually be. So let's just say one of your exit strategies is flipping. If you want to flip right now, it depends on where you at, as far as what part of the country. But let's just say, it don't matter. It don't matter where you at. But if you want to flip a house, the main thing is to get that property at a super discount. I mean, if the houses in that area are selling for numbers sake, 100,000. So they selling for 100, which is really cheap. So let me bring this to reality. If the houses in that area are selling for about 250 to $300,000, you want to make sure you get that house. Uh, I mean, closest you can get to 50%. The closest you can get to 50% is the better it is as far as a flip. Now that also depends on the condition of the property. Do the property need a roof? Does the property need a full whole entire rehab, or is it just a lipstick job where you put the paint on the walls and some carpet, and some new appliances? So let's just say that it is a full rehab. You want to make sure that you have enough, a big enough discount on that property. That way, once you're doing renovations, you even if you have a budget, let's just say the house is worth 300,000 and you got it for 150, but the house needs $75,000 in work. Now you had your contractor come through, and you know that this is a good number. But one thing I know, when you flipping and rehabbing or doing anything with a house, you're gonna run into more problems. So I say add another 10%, 10 to 15% on top of that budget, just for the maybes and the just in cases, because it will happen. I guarantee you that. I promise you that. But what happens is, when you do that, it just helps you in the end, because like I said, you got it for 150. You put 75 in it, and nothing extra happened. That leaves you with about $75,000 profit, which is super crazy right now if you can get $75,000 profit on a house. So I'm not saying get only buy properties that's 50%. I'm saying try to get 50%. You know what I mean? But if it's a property that only need, some paint on the walls and some carpet, some appliances, and just some little stuff that could take a good week or two to do, then of course, just make sure you know what your profit margin is. If you want to make a specific number, let's just say you only want to make 50,000, then make sure that you do the numbers. You got the market value. Then you want to take away the repairs. You want to take away your profit. You want to take away realtor fees and all of that stuff once you put it back on the market. So just make sure that you leave enough room. But if you want a percentage, if you want 15%, 20% on your money on the flip, then you just want to make sure that it's pretty much the same strategy as if you got a specific number that you're trying to make. So at the end of the day, just make sure that you have a deep enough discount where you could make that profit. If you're looking to do a long-term rental, now that's a whole different ball game than flipping. If you're trying to do long-term rental, now usually when you do that, now if it's a full rehab, Now you don't have to have the biggest discount if you planning on doing that. Now, as an investor, you always want to buy and have a little equity in the house, no matter. I don't care what it is. Like, I mean, unless you're getting it with creative financing and stuff like that. But if you paying cash or you getting a loan or something like that, try to always buy with some equity because we investors and we want to make sure that we have at least a good 10% wiggle room, at the end of the day. I mean, the more discounts you have, I mean, the more equity you have after rehab, after you get tenants in there, is the better. That way, if the market does boom and it just take off and now all of the values down, let's just say it go down 5%, at least you got 10% equity. So once the market go down 5%, you still got you 5% equity. And then if it go down 10%, at least you not underwater and your house you got what it's worth. And always the market goes down and it goes up just like the stock market. So don't be afraid to just buy a house because the market is whatever, especially if you're talking about doing long-term rentals. You're talking about long-term rentals, we're talking about 10, 15, 20, 30 years, then you can buy it at market value. So it all just depends on location and like I said, always try to get a little equity in your property. I mean, it just makes more sense to me. Now, if you're doing short-term rentals, um, I guess it depends. Right now, with the way that this market is, and the bubble can go anyway in the next year or two, short-term rentals, you really want to be strategic on that because, I mean, even though they short-term rentals, as far as getting tenants in and out on a daily basis, like Airbnb, and long-term is having, somebody on the lease for a year or month to month, or however you decide to do it. But short-term, it's still kind of long-term. Like if you own the property, I mean, it's still kind of long term, but if you're doing that, you want to make sure that you in a good area. I'm talking about most of all like the South or some of those main attraction cities, probably New York. But when you're talking about the winter cities and states, it's kind of rough when you're doing short term. So I guess during those times, what I would probably do is just make sure that I make enough money during those peak crazy hot seasons, or I would just skip those areas all in period and just go in a nice big cities, big areas, popular areas. Like I'm from Wisconsin, they got Wisconsin Dells. So I'm pretty sure it's good to have Airbnbs up there, but it's only popular about 4 months of the year. So I will make sure that if you're doing long-term rentals, you be in an area where you can keep it open as long as you want to. Now, if your exit strategy is to wholesale, you need to have relationships. If you're wholesaling right now, you need to be talking to real estate agents. You need to be talking to investors that's really, really doing stuff in this market. If you come across a good deal and you ran your comps and the numbers is just everywhere, or you just can't understand what's going on with that, then what I would definitely do is probably get that deal. You run your numbers, you do that, and then speak with your end buyer. Talk to your end buyer and ask them, is this a good deal? Now, I'm talking about somebody you could trust, not just anybody. Don't just put it on Facebook and do this and do that, because everybody just, if they are interested in the property, they won't tell you it's a good deal because they want to get it cheaper. So you make sure you trust this person enough to where they'll be honest with you, and y'all can kind of, y'all have that relationship and that rapport. Also, if you're wholesaling, right now it's kind of difficult because homeowners are still a lot of people still in that modification phase from COVID. A lot of people see that the market is crazy booming right now, so sellers is not trying to budge because their neighbor sold the house for 300, but that neighbor had updated their house, and it was just a beautiful home. And they haven't touched their house since the 70s, so they don't understand that all of that makes a difference. So just make sure your numbers is right. I guess when you're wholesaling, you don't have the big responsibility of coming out of pocket in cash, and the big losses that you could take as a real estate investor with this top market being where it's at. But still, when you're wholesaling, you still want to make sure that you know your numbers, because the market is changing really, really fast. Look, that's the end of my video. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Don't forget to go on Amazon, look for that Flip to Hold 101 ebook. Also, subscribe, like, share this. Follow me on Instagram, Flip to Hold Podcast. Flip to Hold on everything. Flip number 2 hold. You know how we do it. Always remember, listen, learn, be smart, never give up.